This is Margaret Klein coming to you with tons of details about wells. I never knew there were so many details we should look into when buying a home with a well. My channel covers tons of info on home buying, virtual home video walkthroughs, home selling tips, Space Coast things to do, and even some recipes for your new home kitchen. So do not forget to subscribe and like this video. Stay to the end, and I will cover a checklist for you to use if you are buying a home with a well. Buying a home with a well? Or thinking about it? Here's a deep dive on buying a home with a well. I got you. Clear explanations, pros/cons, what depth, yield, drawdown, and tank size actually mean, whether deep or shallow is better. Inspection and testing checklist for buying, maintenance, cost and permit notes, and a buyer's checklist at the end. I'll call out the most important technical terms so you can reference them during showings and sound like the hero of rural plumbing trivia. Quick roadmap so you don't drown in hydrogeology. What a well is and common types. Depth versus yield versus drawdown versus specific capacity. What each means and why you care. Pressure tanks versus storage tanks. Does size matter? Shallow versus deep wells. Pros and cons. Water quality and treatment concerns. Inspection, tests, and things to ask, schedule when buying a home with a well, costs, permits, lifespan, and red flags. What a well actually is. Simple. A private water well draws groundwater from the subsurface aquifer and delivers it to the house with a pump. Wells vary by construction: dug, spored, driven, and drilled cased wells. Depth and construction type affect water quality, reliability, and cost. Depth, yield, drawdown, and specific capacity. The Holy Quartet, these four terms explain whether the well will meet your household needs. Depth, how far the bottom of the well is below ground. Shallow wells are typically tens of feet. Deep wells are often hundreds of feet. Definitions vary by region. Deeper wells often tap more protected aquifers. Yield, often reported in GPM, gallons per minute, how much water the well can produce while pumping. Practical rule of thumb varies by region. Low yield, under 550 GPM, may need conservation or storage. Moderate, fall 5 to 10 GPM, okay for most families with some care. High yield 10 plus GPM can support heavy simultaneous use. High yield wells can support near continuous demand. Low yield wells can run dry if overpumped. Drawdown, how much the water level in the well drops while pumping. If a well has high drawdown at modest pump rates, the pump may run more often and the well could be stressed. Professionals measure drawdown during a pump test. Specific capacity, yield divided by drawdown, GPM per foot of drawdown. It's used to estimate how well the aquifer supports pumping and to compare performance over time. If specific capacity declines, the well or aquifer may be degrading. Bottom line, a well's yield and specific capacity tell you whether the well can supply your household demand. Depth alone does not guarantee an adequate yield. Does well depth matter? Yes, but not in isolation. Deeper wells often tap confined or deeper aquifers that are less affected by surface contamination, so typically cleaner from runoff and more drought resilient, but they can have higher dissolved minerals, iron, manganese, hardness, sometimes radon or other geogenic contaminants depending on geology. Deeper drilling and casing cost more. Shallow wells are cheaper to install and often have softer water, depending on geology, but they're more vulnerable to contamination from septic systems, agricultural runoff, and seasonal droughts. So, depth is important but not determinative. What matters most is the aquifer characteristics, yield, GPM, and water quality tests. Pressure tanks versus storage tanks, are they the same? Does size matter? Two common tanks in a well system: pressure tank, aka pressure vessel, bladder tank, smooth, pressurized tank that evens out system pressure and reduces pump starts. It gives you immediate usable water before the pump turns on. Why size matters. A larger pressure tank increases the amount of water available before the pump cycles on, reducing pump starts and wear. Too small a tank will frequent pump cycling, shorter pump life. Bigger tanks are often better within practical limits. Sizing depends on household demand, pump configuration, and cut-in, cut-out pressures. Storage tank, cistern, atmospheric or pressurized bulk storage, large tanks, often above or below ground, that store many gallons so the well pump refill rate can be spread out. Useful for low-yield wells to meet peak demand without overpumping the well. Systems like well harvester or dedicated storage tanks are used where yield is low. Practical rule: if the well yield is low, increase storage, bigger storage tank, and/or time shift big uses. If the pump is short cycling, increase pressure tank size or adjust pressure settings. Deep well versus shallow well, which is better? Short answer, it depends on your priorities. Deep well, pros: often more reliable during droughts, accesses larger, deeper aquifers. Generally less susceptible to surface contamination. More consistent flow rates in many areas. Deep well, cons: more expensive to drill and repair. May have higher dissolved minerals, hardness, iron, manganese, sometimes radon or arsenic, depending on geology. Repairs troubleshooting can be more invasive and costly, submersible pump replacements. Shallow well, pros: cheaper to install and repair. Lower mineral content can be common in some areas. Shallow well, cons: more vulnerable to contamination from septic, surface runoff, agricultural chemicals. Typically less drought resilient and lower yield. Buyer takeaway: don't pick deep or shallow alone. Pick a well with documented yield tests and water quality testing appropriate for your household size and risk tolerance. Water quality: what to test and why when buying a home with a private well. Require a recent lab test, usually a certified state lab. Common core tests to request: bacterial test. Total coliform, E. coli. Immediate public health issue. If positive, buyer shouldn't move forward without remediation. Nitrate/nitrite, important for infants, pregnant women. Signals septic or fertilizer contamination. pH, hardness, C/G. Iron, manganese, plumbing your laundry, staining and treatment decisions. Lead, if older plumbing, arsenic, radon and water, geology dependent, and other local geogenic contaminants. Ask local health department what's common. Tip: if heavy minerals or treatment is needed, get treatment quotes: softener, iron filters, reverse osmosis for drinking water, UV chlorination for bacteria, and factor in operating costs. Inspection and testing when buying. Insist on professional tests. Ask the seller, or include in your offer, that the well be inspected and documented. Key items: well yield, pump test, a 1-4-hour pumping test with measured drawdown and recovery, or the seller's 24 ATR test if available. You want documented GPM and specific capacity. Local, public health, or state guidance often specifies test procedures. Well log and construction records: depth, casing depth, diameter, grout, seal info, pump type, and installer. That shows how the well was built and whether it follows code. Water quality lab tests, recent certified lab results for bacteria and other locally relevant contaminants. If tests are old, run new ones. Pressure tank and pump inspection, age of pump, submersible pumps, 8 to 15 years life typical. Pressure tank condition, check for frequent cycling. Have a pump tech estimate remaining life. Distribution plumbing check, look for old piping that may leach lead, cross connections, softener, drain setup, expansion tank for water heater, etc. Wellhead and setbacks, check distance to septic system, fuel storage, livestock areas, and property boundary setbacks. Local regs vary. Well, cap must be sanitary and secure. If the well fails any of the above tests, negotiate repairs, seller-funded remediation, price reduction, or walk away depending on severity. Maintenance buyers should know and ask sellers to disclose. Annual inspection and bacterial testing recommended by many state well programs. If bacteria positive, shock, chlorinate, and retest. Pressure tank replacement, often 7-15 years depending on tank type. Upgrading to a larger tank reduces pump wear. Water treatment upkeep, filters, softeners, UV lamps, periodic media replacement. Include an annual budget. Costs, permits, and regulatory notes. Drilling a new well. Cost varies widely by depth, geology, casing requirements, and locality. Typically several thousand to tens of thousands. Deep wells cost more. Get local drillers' quotes. Permits. Many states' counties require well permits, well logs, and setbacks. Private well owners usually must register or keep records. Check local health/environmental departments. Insurance. Standard homeowner policies often exclude well pump/well water system damage. Consider a separate appliance/well pump warranty plan. Red flags when buying a home with a well, no recent documented pump test or well log. Positive total coliform E. coli test until remediated. Low documented GPM that doesn't match household size, e.g., 2-3 people but well 1-2 GPM. Short cycling pump or undersized pressure tank. Visible contamination sources uphill or too close, septic, livestock, fuel tanks. Sellers refuse to allow testing or provide records. Practical examples: how yield and tank size interact. Solution: larger storage tank, cistern to meet peaks, and a properly sized pressure tank to reduce cycling. Short buyer checklist you can use in offers/inspections. Ask seller for well log, pump installation date, pump test results, GPM plus drawdown plus recovery, and recent lab results. Include contingency, professional well inspection plus certified lab water test, bacteria plus nitrates plus locally relevant tests. If yield is borderline, request a pumping test or seller-funded storage tank upgrade/repair estimate. Get quotes for any required water treatment before finalizing offer. Final practical tips and buyer-friendly language to use at showings. Can you share the well log, pump test results, GPM and drawdown, and the most recent bacteria test? This sounds pro and gets you the right docs. If the pump is old, add a contingency or credit for replacement. If the area is known for arsenic, radon, other geogenic contaminants, ask specifically for those test results or run them yourself. Bottom line, is a well a deal breaker? Wells are normal and workable for many happy homeowners. They give independence from municipal water and often lower monthly utility bills. But they come with inspection, maintenance, and sometimes treatment costs. With the right tests and an adjustable offer, you can buy confidently. Either way, I would love to find you a home with or without a well. Call, text 321-480-7662. Website https Margarett It Sells Dream Homes. Come YouTube HDTs on www.youtube.com/Dreamhomes Space Coast Florida. Sour CEs and useful references. I leaned on 2025 relevant EPA private wells guidance, state/local pump test procedure docs, industry guides on tank sizing and yield thresholds, well owner extension guides, and private well management resources. Margarett Klein signing off, and do not forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video!